All right, well, everybody, welcome to the Blind and Visually Impaired Initiative meeting for August. As a start, it's a reminder of this is a CNCF meeting, and so we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which essentially means, in short, be respectful and kind to one another. We do have a agenda that I think Catherine already dropped in chat. Um, if anybody else would like to join, and normally we will say hello to any new faces, but I see we don't have any currently, so I'll skip that. Um, and if you'd like to add yourself to the agenda as an attendee, there's a section in there for that, but that's up to you. So. The first thing that we have on the agenda is a thing I added the other day as a follow-up from last meeting, which is an ask in Slack that I posted to see whether anybody was interested in the prospect of making this meeting an hour earlier instead of the option being an hour later. And the TLDR on that is really, it didn't seem to make a difference to anybody. There wasn't any response to that query. So I think we could move it around a bunch and it might make a small difference or not. To me, my vote at least is to probably just leave it where it is. I'm happy to change it, but we can have this moving target of trying to move it around and have a small improvement, and it might not be worth the effort. So happy for others to chime in if they have any opinions on meeting time. Otherwise, that's it. And then I think,
So just a question. So you were saying, I don't think I saw or I don't remember if I an hour earlier. That was because it's like we're four people who regularly come. So I think
right.
if we keep it here, it's gonna be three. So if there is a time where the four of us can make it, I think we should just pick it because everyone else rarely shows up. So I feel like we have
Right. And you're
the right.
saying like 4 versus 3 is yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think Amza, what was your stance on being an hour earlier? I believe it was a bit more challenging, or that you would be consistently late uh, to if we moved it an hour sooner. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, I'm still stick to this. I will be totally okay with that if it is an hour earlier. I have no problem with that because now it's 3 p.m. my local time, and I'm still okay with it if you move it 1 hour earlier.
You are okay with it.
Very, very okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And Ivan, you said it all works, and Stefan.
Yes, for me it's okay. It's in the middle of the afternoon, so I can arrange myself to be there.
Yeah, because this time I can. Well, definitely. This is just yeah, just coincidentally, the person canceled, but this is an important meeting. I will not, and it's a full hour. Yeah, so let's move it then. And I feel
Yeah,
like
for me, it's reasonable half the time, I guess.
oh, so I thought you.
It's fine. I'm just noting that, part of my year it'll be um a little bit earlier, obviously, but I'm willing to do it if we if it's a win for everybody else. So yeah, we can how do we go about doing that move in a reasonable way?
We just change it. I think we don't have anything scheduled right now because the CNCF calendar disappeared. It has like there's a new CNCF calendar and these initiatives are not on it, as I found out last week. So everything would be published in our events page. But I just wanted to make sure. So Ivan, because sorry, I thought you said it was like 1 hour or not would make a difference. So are you able to make it sometime, or because I definitely think you have priority over me.
So it'll be 6 a.m. for me,
Oh,
once we change time zones, which is not the end of the world. I'm just noting that that's a true thing. So I'm willing to get up and to do that, but it is a thing I'll do. So
it should be the same time as now because we're all switching at the same time because I think we're following US because since the CNCF is
I'm not sure.
in the US, we're following US time zones.
Let me look. But either way, I'm fine to.
So it should,
Uh,
yeah, 6 sounds a lot very early. But compared to what we have with the Merge Forward one, where we have New Zealand and India on a call.
right, exactly.
This is like easy.
This is a shift for me that is not nearly as bad as a shift for other people. So, and we the goal is to get, as many people as we can to join from all sorts of other locations and all sorts of other time zones. So,
Yeah.
in the dialogues that we had had before in Slack, I was wanting to make sure that we included, all of the like Indian time zone. To see whether other attendees would, like we have Harsh, for example. Harsh used to join occasionally, and uh, so yeah, so I say let's move it. And I thought I saw the old calendar page the other day, accidentally sort of existing. So I don't know if it does exist, we should make sure that we change it or we make it go away so that it's not a confusing source of incorrect
It
scheduling for
might still
someone.
exist because I saw the new one says like it has like some text in it saying like this is kind of like the new version of the old one linking to the old one. So the old one might still
Yeah,
exist and then be rerouted. But yeah. And again, like for me, I want to support this group at the beginning, right? But at some point, as I mentioned as well, I would like once things are kind of rolling, I would like to kind of focus more on projects that are across the groups, like the mentorship program. Um, so definitely I'm not like it should work for people within the community most importantly, but I was thinking like if I can join, if there is a way where I could join, I would like to do it, especially at the beginning.
sure. Yeah. And I was wrong about the direction of when I was speaking about my own time zone. It's not that it becomes 6 a.m. It's that it obviously becomes later, and there's a potential for conflicts with some work things. But again, it's not a regular situation. So if there's a time I can't make it, I'll let Stefan know, and I think we can coordinate uh, reasonably. So
Yeah. Also, we as long as we are a small group, we can also just change. We can just change it. Like if there's one thing, like one day make it later or whatever. That's the nice thing about having the events being in this new platform, because if you change the event, everyone will be notified by email.
okay, I suppose that's fine if there's a precedent for that in other groups that you all have been part of and seen that happen. I feel like if the goal is to always have an opportunity for newcomers, that it's nice if we're not constantly moving the thing around.
Yeah, constantly
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
That was like,
or yeah. So
because if you constantly miss it, then I would say like let's keep it as is. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so I say let's move it an hour sooner
Mhm.
and update all the things we can find to update.
Great. And I saw Stefan, you already created, I was going to do that. You already created an event because I wanted to put the
Yes.
video in there. I created special banners
Yes.
for also for the monthly meeting. So now I added that. So you will see that the little thumbnail says monthly meeting.
Okay.
And the banner for the events has also no text because the text is overlaid on it, and then it
Yes, I
looks like
see it.
double text. Yeah. So I created those assets. Uh, yeah, and then yeah, so I think we're good. Like, and then what we can do as well is like at the beginning, like we can upload the event here, and then there is a landing page, and so on, and that's the stuff that we can also share with on social media and so on, because then people have instructions.
I have one question about the event. Do we keep the Zoom link, or
Yes,
we?
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So I put it like that.
Mm.
And then looks like next is Catherine to speak about merge forward.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, because we do have the merge forward groups now. One of the things that I tried to do is, so I started with adding kind of like the same structure and copy in every group so people can tweak. And the idea is that we do follow somehow like a similar pattern, like but customized with whatever the goals and so on. I know Stefan, you already kind of worked on that. And then also from the visuals, there is the logo always like I want people to kind of like see it. This is like all coherent. We're all part of the same. So they're all related, and so hopefully that will help help yeah, just like raising awareness and kind of see us as one united front, right? As a team as we are now. And then, yeah, what I just meant, what we just discussed, like the meetings are now on the platform. I did update the description, Stefan, which is basically just a little bit, here's the agenda and Slack. We can add more to that. And the nice thing is that we can embed the videos and people can then watch the videos. It's like all kind of linked to each other. We'll still have the playlist on YouTube because I always send that to the CNCF because there are always a bunch of views. And well, that's how Ivan found us too, right? So I think that's important to have it there. And yeah, that's all I had. And I'm excited that we have this group now, and I think there's a lot we can learn from from each other in those groups. So looking forward how this group can grow and connect with the other diversity groups. And
All right. I added one kind of
oh, that was you. Okay.
in the midst of things. Something we've been talking about the last few meetings as well, just to sort of keep it going, and that is the doc that is sort of the conference good practices for like blind and visually impaired attendees slash speakers. As a catch up to anybody who's watching this that hadn't seen past, Stefan did an excellent job of previously interviewing a bunch of blind and visually impaired folks and distilling some notes into what is really already a doc, in my opinion, a well written. It doesn't at all look like notes. It's a very nice sectioned, pretty organized doc. So I am willing to in the next month add sort of some introductory text and boilerplate stuff um, to sort of precede the sections that are in the doc. And then I thought I would also take the checklist that the Deaf and Hard of Hearing group has linked to their doc, which is sort of like a good resource for conference organizers to organize their own thing if they want to take that back with them. So sort of take that and adopt some of those things. It's a Google spreadsheet that folks can copy and kind of mark who's going to own different aspects of the process. And, it's got items on there like, for example, make sure that you have a budget, make sure that you have areas on your call for papers and your attendee forms to check yes, no for accessibility, and to have a comment text area as well for people to be able to specify what accommodations mean for them, those types of things. So to kind of keep moving this along, I'm happy to put some introductory text in the doc we have and maybe adjust and copy and borrow from the Deaf and Hard of Hearing group checklist. and I'm by no means taking over this, but I'm happy to do some edits and to try to get something where we can publish like a version 0 of a living document.
Yeah. And that's basically how all these documents should be, right? They're like the idea is hopefully that at some point people can come and just make their own. So even if they're not part of this group, right? Like anyone, like an open source that can
Sure.
come and just see. So yeah, that'd be great because it would be good because Alex is going to be at KubeCon. So it would have been great to have something we can share.
I mean, it might be too late for that. It seems like KubeCon is,
Yeah.
it's in November, and I'm sure
No,
they're.
it's like that's too late, but it's like maybe for the next one.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it would
yeah.
have been nice to have something to share with them.
Right.
Although if we had it now, that I think that was the timeline we had for the deaf and hard of hearing, which was impressive. We
Sure.
shared the best practices 2 months, but I don't think we're gonna have it. So
I mean, we could link it to them now if it's like if it feels like a win. It's not going to change in a huge way from the actual content. The things that are going to be added are going to be like, hey, hi, this is what this guy does for you, and we're going to paint a picture, and it's sort of introductory. So since it's living, I think while it'll eventually be published in a completely different form on the community site, I imagine that's where resources are going now.
Mhm.
We could also link them to Google Doc. I showed the Google Doc to a couple of folks who aren't blind or visually impaired because I was wanting to get a sense of if you're not in our community and you're not blind and you read this doc, what's your reaction? And the reaction was positive. I was curious whether it might feel overwhelming or perhaps challenging to be actionable, because there's a lot of things that can be done to help improve the experience for attendees and speakers. And so that list sometimes might feel intense. So yeah, it's up to you but since
yeah, we can share it the way it is now so they can at least kind of see like what is feasible. Where is that? Have you shared it on Slack?
Stefan linked it last month-ish
Oh.
in the
It's on
main channel.
Oh,
the
I see
Google
it.
Drive folder.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If you find it.
Okay, great.
So probably in the
There it is.
agenda from previous meetings.
Oh yeah, it's in here too.
Yeah, it's there. I'm just pasting it there again because we're speaking about that. Yeah, that's great. And always the thing, my experience with collaborating on the doc for the deaf and hard of hearing working group is that very often context is missing because people kind of or deaf people assume people know because it's their daily life. So I think sometimes like explaining like how does it make you feel if you cannot do this, right? Like people think the example about captions, oh yeah, captions is enough. It's like, yeah, but what about once the talk is over and then you're standing there and you're alone and you cannot hear anything, like that sense of kind of putting yourself in their shoes and how you feel isolated because there is no way to communicate. I think like once people tell you that, you're like, oh yeah, it makes so much sense. But like unless you kind of picture it, like make people like kind of imagine that situation, we just don't think about it because I always think like we're so busy, right? Like, and the events team is so busy, they're just reading la la la, and it's like, and then you don't take the time to kind of try to imagine you're in that situation. So yeah, if there's like little things like that that kind of can help people empathize and why are you asking for that? Because I feel like sometimes it may people think like, oh, you're just being difficult. Why are you asking for this? This sounds like, like you don't want people to think that.
And to that point, I think this is what makes that sort of painting a picture and also challenging and requires some time and consideration is because I particularly believe in, yes, let's paint that picture and let's have it be accurate but balanced, right? Personally, anecdotally, my own self being occasionally in different sort of blind and visually impaired communities, the way of expressing can often be, in my personal opinion, a bit overboard, I'm going to say. And so I think it's important to be accurate and also important to not sort of, tip the scales too much of, if someone's reading this doc and um, it has that quality to it, like it's accurate, but it's also tipping a little bit too much and so like we don't want to tip the scales where we're trying to paint a picture and it helps people dismiss as the words I'm going to use. I'm sorry, I don't know a better way to say
No,
that.
yeah.
I
That's the
think
danger that can happen, right? Because then people
exactly.
over exaggerate a little bit to be taken more seriously at the end. People
Right.
think like, oh, this is not, then it's not believable anymore. And that's
Right. And I realize we don't control what a reader's reaction is going to
Yeah.
be, but we can still write with this in mind, and that's my goal. So
Yeah. And the thing that I always say as well, like we also have to be have empathy for the event organizers or whoever we're reading. Because it's like, what about local events who don't
Right.
have budgets, right? And it's like, how can we ensure that we're giving them information so they can be as accessible as possible without, but in a reasonable, in a way that's feasible, right? Because if you don't have like a huge budget, like how, so it's like understanding that, okay, this would be perfect. In a perfect world, this would be the best experience for me.
Yeah.
I understand this might be expensive, but if that's not feasible, then this would be less great, but it would still be kind of make it feasible for me, like kind of like having that empathy for the other side. Like what we're trying to create is empathy for the blind and visually impaired or deaf and hard of hearing and so on, but also in an empathetic way for whoever wants to help, right? So I think
Right.
both is really important.
Yeah, acknowledging the real truth to none of this is for free. Frankly, I think that in the beginning, at level 0, everyone wants there to be all of the inclusiveness and all of the accommodations that are possible in the known universe. And then, as soon as we start putting reality behind it, of course, everything has a cost, whether it's effort, finances, etc., planning, and it easily becomes onerous to make those accommodations an increasing reality because there is a cost and there is an effort to it. And I know the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Group doc, addresses this as well, that potentially a conference could do all these accommodations and then no blind and visually impaired people come. And how do you know if it's going to happen or not? And that's tricky, right? It's if you put a bunch of wheelchair ramps into a place and then no one comes and uses them for the first week or month or year, it's hard to sort of feel like it's justified. And so it's tricky to speak to that and for organizers to balance those decisions. And I think recognizing that, like you said, is valuable. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I always say empathy on both sides because we're all, and my experience has been like people really want to help, like on CNCF and so on. It's like, so it's not like people are, I haven't run, at least in our space, I haven't run into people just dismissing it as not necessary or anything.
Sure.
So.
And I know that I led this section by saying I'm going to make all these edits and do things. I'm not like Amza and Stefan. If you want to be part of this, I'm of course completely happy to have help and for us to collaborate. Stefan already did a ton of work interviewing and collecting and writing up what we have, which looks really great. And so my intention is more to contribute and I'm happy to have help, but also I'm happy to just move this forward. So let me know in whatever way you'd like if you want to be part of it, etc. But I'm not excluding you, but I'm hoping to just keep this ball rolling.
It's okay. It's okay for me. I understood what you mean,
Yep.
and I just would like to share you. I'm just concerned by this question because I'm organizer of next year. We have in Paris 1-day event, so it's Club Native Days there, and I'm in the organization team managing all the DEIA stuff, and it's difficult to manage to balance the cost and how many people will join as well. So exactly what you said. We have some sponsors and we need to manage many things, and they decide to have a dedicated person, so it will be me, to discuss in all tracks or topics during the preparation of the events to be aware of everyone. And I had an issue trying to gather all document or best practice for all groups, and probably the Merge Forward umbrella project will be there to work on the best practice document for event organizer, to gather all initiatives below, to get only one document for organizer to follow the best practices. But we need this best practice document for every initiatives to work on before.
Right. Sure. Each document in and of itself is a decent undertaking to read and process and to use as an organizer, let alone all of them together, whether in individual form or somehow combined. Which I'm not saying that you're saying we should necessarily combine them, but even just them existing as separate documents, but in a pile is a lot. It's a lot of to consider.
Yeah, one thing that could be done, because it's like at least for the deaf and hard of hearing, a lot of education is made, like what we were talking about, the script, like kind of like that is good if you want to understand, but maybe it would make sense to make like a more compressed version that kind of says like these are the things you have to think about, right? And then like linking to the more detailed versions of the document if you want to kind of read more, have more background to as to why. So yeah, so one is like
Maybe the checklists sort of do that. So, to use the deaf and hard of hearing group checklist as an example, right? That's how the doc is written and the checklist is written. Like the doc is the why and the checklist is the, the unadorned list of things, right? Like if you don't want to have verbiage behind it all and you know what it means, then here's the checklist. If you want more, then there's the doc and you can reference it. So maybe it's reasonable to have some series of checklists or some combined checklist in the end. We have to have a doc and a checklist first for us, of course, but as we go and all the initiatives have their own docs, maybe that's how we combine at a reasonable level, is to merge all the checklists together.
Yeah, and I think that I'm just looking, there is some, so we do link to parts of, so I think the checklist is good because it has the notes and it has like I forgot about that because we worked on this such a long time. So yeah, like it's like one huge like accessibility checklist, and then in the notes we'll have links to the document to the specific section so you can learn the why.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking, it's a really good checklist. I like it.
Yeah, great.
I hope someone gets it. I hope we need to be we just need to make sure that.
So just even you can continue on the document. I have another topic in mind. I will be at Open Source Summit Europe next week.
Okay.
And I took the CKS exam last week, and I figured out how blind and visually impaired people can manage to take this exam, because it's a virtual desktop inside a PSI browser. So PSI is the company.
Yeah, it's a web-based terminal.
Yes, and I don't know how screen reader can manage this stuff.
No, it can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will open the discussion with Linux Foundation education teams, because I know well them, because I discuss a lot when I managed to join conferences, and I can start a discussion with them about how to manage blind and visually impaired to take the hands-on exam, because the quiz exam, I guess, is easier. but for the hands-on exam, it's difficult.
I started a dialogue with them years ago, and I allowed it to sort of die on the vine, as they say. So it's not no fault of anyone else. As I was working heavily in Kubernetes and learning things, I decided I wouldn't, necessarily chase the certification. That was my
Mm.
own personal choice, but what I was shooting for at the time was, could we have the same kind of exam environment where we SSH into something instead. And so yeah, it'd be great to kind of um,
I will discussion with them
rekindle.
and
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
see.
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I think we have like the next project, which is good. And I don't think we should tackle anything else before we have that. But yeah, we'll definitely share it in the Slack channel as well. Like once you're done, Ivan, to see like who, if anyone else would like to comment or contribute or whatever. Because there are people who are checking Slack, but who said that they're checking the Slack, but they're regularly, but they're not able to join the meetings. So hopefully we can get some engagement there, because I don't think we've actually asked a lot of times. People, like, we've done it occasionally, but some new people joined since then. Or
Sure.
we had
Yeah.
like an ask and a task.
When
Maybe.
you say we have a project, we shouldn't tackle anything else. What did
Oh,
you mean there?
I was just saying, like, because we have that best practices.
Right.
I think we're good with that, right? Like, I was thinking, like, we don't need to think about the next project at the moment, or do you feel this is like,
Well, I wasn't sure if that was in reference to also the Kubernetes exam and what Stefan was talking about, because that's kind of
oh,
his own thing, uh, I
yeah,
believe.
no.
So
I
yeah,
was thinking more of documentation. That's more like pinging people and kind of
right.
starting a
Yes.
discussion.
Okay. Yeah.
For now, it's only pinging person and see what is feasible for now and continue discussion if they're open to open it for blind
Yeah.
and visually impaired people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know how difficult it is to manage discussion with PSI company, and I know how the trouble they have with this company to manage all exams. So
Mm.
let's see.
Got you. Got you. Yeah, Catherine, to your point about feedback and people watching Slack, but not necessarily saying anything, et cetera. I think we definitely should keep publicizing and including folks on the channel. And it's of course fine to have another feedback loop. And we can do that before or after I kind of make my edits. The thing that I think is important is holding space for people to contribute,
Mhm.
but also not getting stuck in a loop of sorts, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So
I was thinking also, one thing that I figured out and we can do on that Slack, and we're doing it for Deep Roots, is you can have like automated messages, like a monthly message reminder or something. So if there's anything, for one of the things that we're working, and I think it's a really good idea, and we might want to do this for this group as well. It's just maybe a little small at this time. It's a job sheet where everyone who wants to participate adds a link to the career page of their company and their name. And then so if anyone is looking for a job, so they can reach out to the person, and so they can look at the companies that are listed and see if they see a job that's interesting. And if they do see something, they could reach out to someone who works there and kind of get some background information and basically get a little edge, right? If you have like information about the company, the culture and so on, you obviously have an advantage when you when you apply. And then it's up to the person if they want to do a referral or no. That's not something that we can ask for anyone, right? They have to have a good feeling about it or not. So I really like that idea. I think we're a little small for that, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there are more people looking at it. But those are little things that we can do as well that feel very low effort. And for that, we have a reminder, right? We have a reminder, monthly reminder. It comes like, hey, do you work for a great company and would like to hire more blind and visually impaired people in your team? Like add yourself here, and then like, are you looking for a job? Check it here, and then reach out to like with little instructions. So just something to keep in mind that we have, because I didn't know that you can actually set it up without being an admin. Those little bots.
The reminder, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that I didn't realize that's something that we can do. So we are able to create those little bots. So if there is anything we want to kind of keep, we should do it for the meetings, I think. Right? Like have like a meeting tomorrow, and then maybe an hour before. That might be. So, but anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think some kind of thing, whether Stefan or I are doing it manually or whether we have a bot, announcing the meetings 24 hours before or something like that. I think it's fine. The job thing that you previously talked about, I actually watched that. I think Deep Roots with Jay and everybody, and heard you all sort of talk about that. And the thought I had at the time was, it could become stale as well. And so I wondered if it was going to be a list of like individuals' LinkedIn, and then you can go to their LinkedIn and see, in fact, where they work, and or a list of company plus their name or whatnot. So
Yes, it's not individual jobs because that will get stale very quickly.
Right.
So it's the careers page,
yeah, okay.
right? And so assuming, yeah, I mean, like, so you only would have to update it when you change jobs, which hopefully doesn't happen too often, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and if people are not on Slack anymore, it's probably they're not part of the group anymore. So, but yeah, so to avoid it being stale and to avoid to maintain it, like we're saying, like just link to the page, to the career page, and then you can see what's available at that moment. And if you see something interesting, then because the initial idea was like for individual jobs, and we're like, that's gonna be how like that's
Right,
impossible.
okay.
And it's a lot of like you're already volunteering to talk to people, and then like also like having to maintain that and keeping up to date with all the no, that's crazy. So
Yeah.
Yes, regarding notification as a reminder, and the platform has a mailing feature, so automatically email already created per chapter, per group. So
yeah, so
if
we need to
if
get
I
people
remember
to sign
well,
up.
by default you have a reminder one day before, and you
Right.
can add other if you want.
That might be enough then, because we don't want to
Yeah, we need people to
become
join it, though.
irritating.
We need people to join. I think one of now that the page is live, I would think like this month, besides the what's it called, like the documentation, like working on that, and Stefan talking about the certification thing, we should kind of try to maybe publicize the site and like get like the people who are on the Slack channel to join as well, because right now I think there are only how many? It might be just the three of us. Yeah, 3 members. So we need people to sign up to join the group. And
Right.
then
Not to speak for what Dave meant by this, but when we were talking about making the meeting an hour or sooner, then Dave had somewhat after that joined Slack and said, I might be able to join. I see there's some discussion of moving the time, so we'll see where that comes out. So that may or may not mean that an hour earlier is good for him, as an example. But if it works out that way for any of the folks who have previously joined or are new, that would be great. And I also think that, Catherine, you said something to this effect, like maybe on the Merge Forward meeting, that So if I'm going to paraphrase you some that like everyone initially thumbs up all the things and wants to join all the things, and then the reality is often much less. And I think that's just a common truth to uh, all sorts of initiatives. And
Yeah.
I don't have a great answer for, how to address that other than to say that it happens, and we're happy for the folks who can make it, and we want you to participate. And if you're not able to, no pressure, no hard feelings, no. We understand life is busy and things happen, and or I think sometimes people regret uh, commitments, and rather than decommitting, they say a bunch of other things. So that's their all of their circumstances, and it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, we want to continue to be welcoming, and whoever can make it, we are appreciative.
Yeah. And I think like I mean, yeah, and open source and everything that's like volunteer, it's you cannot control that, right? People
Right.
and I think it's cool that people really want to participate, but then like life just happens and then it's just more complicated. But I think like our job is basically to make it as easy as possible by reminders, giving people the opportunity to contribute async, right? Maybe some people just don't feel like meeting, right? They are like people have different preferences, so we have to accommodate that. But I also think that it's important sometimes to tag people, right? And kind of so they feel like, oh, yeah, they want me to be there because like we all want to be wanted, right? So sometimes like kind of like if there's someone new or someone who hasn't joined for a while, like kind of like tagging them specifically and showing like, hey, I've noticed you haven't been able to come. Hope you're getting so it's like those little things. It's kind of that's all community building, right? There's
Yeah.
a lot of work that goes into it. It's like a soft skill that yeah. But absolutely agree. It just happens. But I think there are various ways to contribute that don't have to be during the meeting.
And along those lines, I literally just added a thing to the agenda in real time that says uh, uh, other community opportunities to participate that aren't this meeting. And I'm curious if I think we lost Hamza, but if Stefan, if you have any ideas or opinions about this, I've been wondering if it would bring people together to have some sort of async or synchronous Zoom meeting about some other topic that isn't the things we talk about here on the meeting that relate to, blind and visually impaired life. I don't know whether anybody would come. I understand that if we think about any of the community things that we've seen, I don't know if I can pick, can I pick on buoyant a little bit, like in a positive, like just reality way? Like every company has community things that they put together monthly, right? Linkerd, community call. And sometimes nobody shows, and sometimes people show up and there's amazing questions. It's been a while since I've joined those calls, but like as a company who also had community calls, I know that the same thing has happened in the past. So I realize it takes some momentum to get those things going, but I wondered if there might be a topic. How do you, as blind and visually impaired people, solve X? How do you work around accessibility bugs in blah thing? Like, I don't know what the topic should be, but it needs to be useful. It needs to be something that will provide value to enough people. It needs to be balanced. It needs to be sort of, in my opinion, reality, but kind of more positive,
Mhm.
because you want it to be a happier place for people to come. So anyway, that I'll throw something in Slack about this as
Yeah.
well. But if I'm curious, if there's any reaction, Stefan, if
I
you have.
love that. So, but I wouldn't do like now I'm thinking a little further than just this group. I would love for that to be something that might be a live stream on the CNCF YouTube channel and LinkedIn. So, because for where we have like, yeah, blind and visually impaired people talking about that, but so also educating people about the challenges and so on. But that might be a different thing, because now I'm thinking like maybe people just want to talk off the record. So maybe those are two different ideas, but I think we should do that too, right? Like kind of part of our mission is as well to educate people about the challenges that exist. What do you like? What is it like to be blind in tech, right? Like creating that understanding, so people if someone applies to a job that is like just like having like understanding more what it means and the challenges and how they can help. And I totally agree with the positive, keeping it positive. That's one of the discussions we've had with talking about deep roots and so on. It's like, as sad as some things might be, if you just talk about how grim things are, you're going to push people away, because there are so many
Right.
problems nowadays. We all like, we hear the news, it's just like devastating. So it's like, just instead of focusing on like how what's not working, is like what's working and how can we make it even better, or how can you help, like empowering, instead of saying like, oh, this is broken, kind of focus on what's working and how to empower people to help, kind of to allies to help empower allies to advocate for more of that kind of thing.
Right. And it's a challenge, right? Sometimes like things can feel grim, and it's important to acknowledge that. We're not trying to paper over anything, but we're also some of it might even be just personality, right? Or personal purview, or are we having a good day or a bad day? Or is there too much happening in our life? Like maybe, I shouldn't join this call, or I shouldn't have this conversation. There's all those factors that come into play, and it's, challenging to do that. But it's important. I agree. I also think, to go back to something that you said a couple points ago, talk off the record. I think it's tricky, because I think having something not be recorded can uh, be positive, but I also think that having something be recorded can bring future participants, because it's how you find things as well, right? And frankly, I think people like to sometimes uh, look in through the window sort of invisibly, and see, oh, how are these people, and what do they like, or what do they talk about, or let me see one of these past events, and then kind of decide if I want to come. That can be helpful to help someone join who maybe would never join otherwise. Maybe they're nervous, whatever. So I think it's probably a little more valuable to have it be recorded. And I think it's okay. I think there's a lot of virtual meetup type groups that still exist post 2020 pandemic times, that regularly record their meetings, and they still chat. So I think it's doable.
Yeah. And I do feel like the advocacy part is something we haven't really talked about. Well, we just with the documentation, but like to the broader community, right? Like,
Right.
and I know the CNCF is super happy. Like, I'm pretty sure they still are. Like, they've been always very helpful with the deaf and hard of hearing to get like a live stream. Like it's hard. Like you cannot just request it like that, because a lot of people want to be on a CNCF live stream, but because it's accessibility and they do recognize the importance of that, they're very supportive. So I think it would be great, because then you have the nice thing about that is like if people are on LinkedIn, it will pop up on their feed, right, while they're watching. And then like even if they don't hear the whole thing, like you're not going to listen in for the whole thing if you're just like browsing, but like a little bit. And then it raises definitely awareness, and you can watch it on YouTube later as well. So I think if we want to record it, like a live stream would be really, really cool. But we'll have to see like if people are up for that. Or
Right,
just
and we might have to do the first one as a Zoom / goes to YouTube, or whatever's low effort in a good way. I think whatever gets it moving is, we don't want to have a live stream and then it's like two of us.
No. We would have to kind of if we do this, we have to kind of recruit people, and they're kind of committed to come. Like that's
Right.
And
Right.
it's like when you have like a panel, it would be basically kind of like a panel discussion, right? It's like
Yeah.
you don't just decide to show up or not the day off.
Right.
Like it
Right.
we would need commitment and making sure. But yeah, if you want to just do like a recorded Zoom meeting first, and then we just publish and share the link on YouTube later, to get started, that works too. Like, but like I think we should start having these discussions publicly. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll post something in Slack and I'll try to, have some ideas to seed the conversation. And then we'll see. And we're almost at time.
Yes, it would be a great idea, but for now on Slack we are only 32 members, so probably it's a good idea to get more traction from bigger group like CNCF or as well the Merge Forward umbrella project, to get more people involved in Slack channels, to get the challenge you mentioned to be managed by more people. And we need as well to speak about allies, because it's not only us, but it can be allies as well, to help support more initiatives. I don't know if you have some idea about that, Catherine.
Well, I wanted everyone to kind of have their pages ready as well, because I want to like finish the Merge Forward page so you can see all the subgroups. And then I wanted to coordinate with the CNCF. Like I wanted to have like a post promoting Merge Forward and all the subgroups, and then like asking people to like who wants to volunteer and join, right? Like, and so, like
Okay.
you can either support like one group or like overall, right? And overall can also like help and coordinate and things like that. But yeah, I want that. That's why that's why I was pushing a little bit to get the pages done, because before really announcing and linking to it, it would be nice to have all the pages live.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my plan. And as I mentioned, we do need help. So yeah, I've been waiting so long. This is like I want to finally be able to kind of have like a little recruitment post saying like, yeah, come join us, help us. And I do think, I hope there will be interest. And again, people will sign up and join, and then a big percentage will never come because that's how open source works, right? But like hopefully some will stick around and be able to commit some time.
Yeah, and this is my one of my points in the sort of gather as a community thing is that if we're answering questions or covering topics or challenges that are either still a challenge for some individuals or they're a conquered challenge that someone has figured out how to deal with this in their life. Um, Whichever side of that line you're on, it's a potential for you to talk about your solutions or for you to hear about the solutions. And so coming up with those topics is paramount to connecting these two, like I have a problem or I have a solution to that problem, or a little bit of isn't it horrible dot 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 question mark is fine, to a certain extent. So one of the ideas I have as an example is dealing with like log analysis and trend analysis, in tools like Datadog and Friends, right? In this increasingly distributed, cloud native world where everything is running in containers and orchestration and Kubernetes and so on and so forth. The logs are also much more distributed. And so how do we use these kinds of systems to, for example, look at data that traditionally is presented in a graph? And a lot of people I talk to who have vision don't like graphs necessarily any more than I happen to not like graphs. But graphs are sort of what exists in this world. And so getting to hear from different people who work as SREs and how do you all get access to this data and what are your solutions would be useful. So that'll be the topic that I present in Slack as an example. But yeah, I'll stop
Yeah, I
there.
think that's really interesting. I think like just there will be people generally just interested to listen to that. Like, so I really like that because it's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. Let's do that and get started with that time. Like while we work on documentation and stuff, do that kind of like events, kind of like either on Zoom with a group and recorded, or at some point, hopefully also live streamed to get more eyeballs.
Right. Well, I need to run.
Same. Good meeting.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Great chatting with you all, and see you all later.
See you later. Bye-bye.